I like all kinds of movies. I like horror movies. I like action movies. I like comedies. I like dramas where it's just people standing around talking. And yes, I even do like the occasional funny summer romantic action comedy, which is exactly what The Fall Guy is. Let's talk about it. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Before we get started, click the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you know whenever I post a new piece of content. Okay, so I'm like Team Gosling all the way. I think he's a great actor. I think over the last couple years, he's kind of been, I guess, rebranded a little bit as this like guy who's gonna be in the goofy, funny, self-aware blockbuster. Obviously Barbie being a great example last year, and then The Fall Guy this year. But that's really selling him short. I think he's a tremendous actor. He's in two of my all-time favorite films, Drive and then Blade Runner 2049. His performance as the titular driver and then Agent K or Officer K in Blade Runner are two of my favorite performances like ever. I think he's a tremendous actor who has a lot of range. He can do a variety of roles. He's great as an action star in stuff like The Gray Man. He's great in comedies and stuff like this too, and great in dramas as well. So this movie is really, really, really good. I was kind of floored by how much I enjoyed it. I laughed a lot at this movie. It's basically a rom-com action movie with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. They both have just a very palpable chemistry together and really work well on screen. He's a stuntman for this big name Hollywood actor. Nobody knows who he is outside of the industry. But he suffers this traumatic accident. He's basically got this really bad back injury from a fall that he takes. And then he tries to rekindle his romantic relationship with Emily Blunt's character, and that's like kind of the story of the film. And there's drama about the possible death of the actor, and he gets like kind of involved in this like criminal mystery that's going on, and the movie works really well. It's anchored by the great performances from its two leads. And what I like too is movies that tackle like Hollywood stories can be very hit or miss. This movie is a lot of like inside baseball, a lot of very Hollywood terms, and your movie will either succeed or fail on how it portrays that when it tells that type of movie. A movie like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood does it really, really well. And this movie also does it really, really, really well by being very jokey and fun, and this very like loving tribute to stuntmen and to stunt crew. And I think that's really what makes it very charming and cool and very like lovingly made. And I like that about this movie. It doesn't have any political agenda whatsoever. It's not beating you over the head. It's not preachy. It's just a movie that's really, really fun and is coming out kind of at the perfect time for the summer. I think it's kind of doing not so great at the box office, which is a disappointment, because this movie is great and charming, and Blunt and Gosling are really, really good together. They're both very, very funny, and yeah, very charming movie, super easy to enjoy, very, very like, I wouldn't say, yeah, I'd say it's fairly family friendly. You know, I wouldn't take young kids to see it, but it's like a light PG-13. So yeah, I really like The Fall Guy. This is one that I'll probably revisit again in the future. And it's cool to see Gosling like being able to do this kind of role when he really did start as an actor doing some very like troubled and flawed characters. Two of which I mentioned before, Blue Valentine, Place Beyond the Pines. He's just done some really gritty stuff to get himself into this point in his career. And I think it's cool that he seems to like understand that he can use that success to leverage these more like kind of fun roles, I guess, because he did the work to get to that point in his career, which is cool. And Blunt, yeah, she's great, man. Emily Blunt is great in everything. I love her in this. Yeah, so nothing bad to say about it, really. If there's one critique I have, I think some of it's some of the dialogue in the scenes tends to drag just a little bit. And that's the only complaint I have. Everything else about this movie is really great. So I loved it. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked it, found it helpful, I hope you'd consider subscribing. Also, another Gosling movie that I didn't mention is The Nice Guys. Great movie if you haven't seen it. That's him and Russell Crowe. Yeah, so Team Gosling all the way. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think of this one, and I'll see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m.